Alright, here we go back on stage 3. I had to service the car, and as you can see, this one's going up in 2 videos, even though I don't like to do it like that. I was in the middle of watching the ads, and my video connection crashed. So now with the car serviced, getting the average speed should be quite easy. And of course, to get the average speed, if I have to cut it across the corners, I can, and I'm not really worried about having to do that. And since this actually seemed to be the best spot the last time, I think I'm going to go ahead and just do it right here. And I actually got that fairly easy. So I almost wonder if I couldn't have gotten it pretty easy on the last one too, and just had to run it into the barrier. What's the average speed around? 141. So I'll make sure to go a little bit slower here. I don't want to have 157 or something. That would not be the best. Having to go with the service in the green has already bumped it up. I could have tried to sit here and lose races for the next 20 or 30 minutes, but there's just no need. 141, terrible memory. And there we go. So obviously service in the green, but I'm going to run the races pretty much like I have it in when one of these autocrosses while crossing the finish line at no more than 33 kph. I'm actually going to run the dynamic because the dynamic is over the most fun part of the course. And obviously having slowed it down and now being in the green, it's not going to be difficult to win. Here through the carousel, around up through the alleged Laguna Seca corkscrew, and certainly I'm going to have okay, let me actually put it back in airplane mode there. I certainly didn't have as much time as I thought. I thought it was going to be one of those goals where you can do it in just seconds. Now this one I will be able to do because it's about a second and a half slower. It's actually quite difficult trying to do it on this one. I'll try it on the short course. Okay, so just for time saving, to make sure I have enough time, I'm just going to cheat it right across the curve here. So obviously that's the one I should have done first, to not have to mess around with the other ones. Sorry if it messes with you a little bit the way I change the views. My preference is to run with it in chase view, but when you slow down to very low speeds, you can't see like the speedometer and the timers and stuff. So this is all of the LFAs. It looks like they've got all the different colors represented here. Nice little pink one in the lead. In the real world, not necessarily in the game, the LFA is one of the most overpriced cars on the market. As I remember, it's somewhere around $300,000, and it just gets blown off the road by most cars that are even just far more inexpensive than that. Not to mention, for $300,000 you can probably get an F12 Ferrari. I haven't exactly priced out F12 Ferraris, but I do know someone who bought a Ferrari California, which is sort of the little brother to the F12, and I think it was about 130. So certainly even that, for what, about a third of the price, is going to be just a far superior car to an LFA. But anyway, it's a decent car to drive in the game, even if it is a little bit boring. And it's definitely one of those cars that's never going to be on as the top car in a weekly time trial or anything like that. It's just sort of a middle of the road car in the game. Sort of another in the long line of cars that we have that you just use and you don't really ever think about going back to. There's not many cars in the game that you ever just return to. You end up returning to the prototypes, the Le Mans prototypes, a lot, because you have to in order to actually, get gold and race dollars and stuff. There's a handful of the other big cars that you go back to, but in general, you just race a car until the series is done, and then you put it away. It's actually one of the fun things about being able to go back and do these series, is that I get to run this car, because it's not really a car that I get to use. What's the average speed anyway? 144, so I'm way over that. I'm just going to go ahead and start slowing down right here. I want to let this second place car get as close to me as he can. I think I'm going to I beat that by way more than I actually wanted to, but I didn't really have a choice. And so now the service is all the way back down in the red, or at least part in the red. I'm going to leave it there for tomorrow for the final day. See what we get for completing stage 6. 10,000 and 5 gold. Carrera GT, Viper GTS, R8, Gallardo, and now the LFA. You've mastered each V10 that's come your way. Now I think you're ready for Magnus. And off we go. So that's stage 6. As you can see, I did have to service the car there. Let me know how you're getting on with this one. Leave a question, comment on YouTube or on Facebook. Have a good day.